Hi, I'm Melissa Nylon. It's been a while, a long while. I mean, I look totally different, I'm sure. I got my ready to wash my face headband on with my makeup on it, and got some things on my mind. And I think the last time that I spoke to you guys, we had a conversation about like racism in the club, and I think growing up Latina and different experiences that I had growing up. And I've gotten some pretty interesting responses to those videos. Some of them are actually kind of surprising, especially the one about the strip club. Of course, I did get the comments where it's like, oh, that's like degrading to women, you guys shouldn't even be in there. But I think most of the comments were positive. And it was interesting to see that it's something else that other people have noticed. So I'm actually in a new chapter now, but for anybody that has seen the channel, prior to that video, which was like 7 months ago, but anybody who had seen me, much prior to that, you would know that I guess I've been on and off on YouTube since about 2011, 2010 maybe. And during that time, I never really discussed what it was that I actually did. I know I talked about, I was a freelance photographer at the time, but I did not talk about what I did to support that freelance that I was doing and what kind of job I had to help myself invest in myself, basically. And I didn't talk about it because, like talking about, if as a woman, if you know that working in adult entertainment is kind of frowned upon, particularly by other women. So it's not something that I ever talked about. And me being an artist now, because I'm not in adult entertainment anymore, but I am in a professional field, and you just never know how people are going to judge you. So I just never talked about it. But we're kind of in a new age now, and you have basically the Cardi B age, where you see people that used to be in that scene and they've transitioned into something great. And even though she does mention that she used to dance, she doesn't go in depth, and I'm sure she doesn't because that's the past, she is past that. And she is one of the few celebrities that actually mentions that, or that it's common knowledge that she used to do that. I mean, there are other people that we know of that used to dance as well, but I wouldn't say their celebrity is as big as hers. They haven't gone on to win Grammys and sell millions of records or anything. So I think as someone who used to dance, it would be nice to be able to share that, what that experience is like to transition out, because I think the perception is that once you're in, you don't transition out, or you can't transition out, or, well, you're making so much money, what could you possibly do that's going to bring you either something close as far as money or something greater? And I mean, it's a very limited way of thinking, but that is how most people think. And it's not only in the club that they think that way, but it's also outside the club. I quit dancing in, I'd say January. So I was on the verge of quitting last year, mid last year. And I started working. I am a motion graphic designer and a video editor. And that is what I do full time now. So when I started working full-time in my field last year, I was already kind of transitioning out the club. Like I told myself I was going to dibble and dabble in it, and the more I went back, the more my spirit was kind of repelling it. Like, this is done. We don't want to be here anymore. So fast forward to like January, I decided to try going back, one more time. And I couldn't do it, And it's not like, I was so like miserable and all this stuff. I just felt like my time was up. And that's what it feels like when you're tired of something, basically, or when you're not supposed to be somewhere anymore, or when it's time for you to move up, basically. It was more than moving on, it was like moving up for me. And the transition is possible if you think it's possible. So I would like to say this to anybody that is maybe you're either one, you're in the club and you feel like you can't get out, or you don't know how you don't know what's next, or maybe you're considering dancing, but you don't know if you should because blah blah what other people think, right? My advice to you is, I started dancing because I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in photography as a freelancer, and I wanted something that was flexible. I wanted to know I could go to work for 2 weeks straight and then not go to work for 2 weeks and just straight like grind on doing photography. And that's why I did it. And then I had this aha moment and I decided to go back to school. And dancing was great because I could go to work once a week and then go to school the rest of the time. So it is a great stepping stone. It's great if you allow it to be great for you. Because anything can be abused. Especially when there's quick money involved. I feel like this is called a trap for a reason, right? Anything where you make money quick, whether that's dancing, bartending, some other form of hustle where you can make money on a daily basis. I say, when I think trap, I think it really is a trap. Like you could get stuck and have a hard time getting out if you allow yourself to think that that's all that there is. And I think for most people, from what I've been learning now, because I have a best friend who's also transitioning out of the club and trying to do something else, I don't think it's so much that you don't think you can transition out. I think it's just a fear that you might come back. So there's this fear of, what if I can't be without it? What if there's nothing better and I have to go back? What if I go on this new journey for this new job, this new career, I decide to go back to school or whatever. You decide to go on some new path and it doesn't work and you have to come back. And that's a fear. That's a fear I feel like you have to let go of. And it's a fear that is a fear. You're basically worrying about something that hasn't come to pass yet. You're worrying about something that might not even happen. And truth be told, like, there's nothing wrong with coming back. I've taken long breaks. Like, there was a time when I didn't dance for like a good 6 to 8 months. And then I went back, and it was awkward, but I went back. And, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But if you make the conscious decision to not go back, and you take the steps that you need to be taking to do whatever this transition is, whatever job it is you're trying to do, whatever new hustle it is that you're trying to do, as long as you're taking the right steps, I feel like you won't relapse. Most people relapse because they think that they will. And they use the club as a crutch. And you can't do that. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm knocking them for dancing, because I'm not. I mean, I danced for many years. And I'm not ashamed. I mean, I feel like it has molded me into the person that I am. I'm a motion designer, but I'm also a freelance motion designer. You know, like, I don't work for anyone. I work for myself. And I go hard to get my clients and these gigs and to make money. And I learned how to hustle from being a hustler in the club. So I'm taking that experience with me. So I mean, I have no shame, and I don't feel like you should have any shame. And I feel like if you're gonna go in, you know, you just go in with a plan and you plan to come out. And just know that it's not permanent. So I just want people to know that that it's possible. Like, there's life after the trap. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the life that's glamorized that you see. Like, you have to, like, marry a rapper or be with some type of celebrity, or if you don't sleep your way to the top, you're not gonna make it. You know, that is how some people get out, but that is not the only way to do so. And I guess I just kind of wanted to share that experience, because I know that I'm kind of on here willy-nilly, and I come and I pop on and then I leave. And I never really get to talk about my transition, or I should say, I never get to share my experience with anyone. And I wish that when I was dancing, there had been videos like this from people who were in my position, or in a position that I wanted to be in, that could have told me something like this, that could have told me it was possible, and could have told me how they did it. But there was nothing like that. In fact, when I was dancing, I don't even think YouTube was as popular as it is now. Now there's videos of people basically vlogging themselves as strippers, which is cool, but when I was stripping, that didn't exist. So, in case anyone's wondering, like, well, how old are you? I'm in my 30s. And for my, like, OG dancers, and I mean the ones that go the hardest, that I'm technically not that old. Because the girls who I know hustle the hardest, they're older than I am. So, the younger ones tend to be a little bit lazier. I hope that this video has helped somebody. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'll be back with a happier video. I'm going to try to take the time, especially now that I'm working from home, I'm going to really try to take the time to just talk. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.